All right, America, the mirror and the stall, the stable, the crypto, the stable coin, and those types of things that we have had upon the earth. And the 11, the 47, the L even, these types of things are upon your earth as the second coming of Adonai, which is the Lord. He's before you, and he's created that truth social, that image-given life, so you can worship the Lord in truth. So that trumpet sounded long ago. So let's get into this 47, because 2027 is a 47 marker. When you add ding on those 22s, and the 22 connects you to the 55 on their mirror, the 25, the 52, those types of things, and the 25 carries over. So these are different clocks that are carrying the so-called overs. And we're going from the 48 Israel to the 48 presidency, and this is where the dawn of time more than likely is going to do that abomination of the desolation, take out the old Israel and bring in a new Israel. And this is going to tie into different robbing Peter to pay Paul, and the robbing Peter to pay Paul is tying into your Robin Netta, your Netanyahu, and your Batman and Robin, and those types of little parallels, as the Batman and the Gotham has been shown with the Nashville and those types of things. And then Batman, Gotham, New York, the Don, the Billionaire, Secret Toys, all that kind of shit are all kind of going together. So the DC comics are live right now, as well as the Marvel. And the Marvel connects you to the Elon and the X-Men and those types of things. So this is where you have the crossovers that come into our world and whatever else. So as we're going from old world to new world, as the new world has been set up, that's where the stall is coming in, and the 48 to the 48. And going into the mirror is like the 11, and that's one side of the mirror, the other side of the mirror, and that kind of thing. And then some mirrors are you can see through the back, like in the Ripley's Believe It or Not, and see through the other side, or it's the kind where you can't do that. So that's tying into the color spectrums as far as RGB and CMYK and the true black and not the true black, those types of things. And then the true black and not true black is going to be tying into a black man wearing white face, or a white man wearing black face, and them switching roles and however else. Or they might have the real black man going against the fake black man. And okay, so that kind of is a parallel with Obama and the Kamala. I've told you many times that I personally think Kamala could be the Bin Laden dressed up in a spy outfit or whatever else. Either way, so we're gonna see these masks and Damascus, all this stuff of Hollywood, so to speak, is all gonna come into your reality for now to the 48 and 49 or whatever, depending how fast they crunch this time sequence. But we've already been told about the 50 states of America, and then Trump's coming in talking about the 51 and 52, and then the foot of the bear for the incubation is all there. So this is where the America and this empire and whatever else is just now giving birth. But either way, so it's at the birth of this one, and it's at the elderly on that one, and the elderly on that one. The old one is going into the Hunter stand, and that Hunter stand is before you now, as far as Hunter Biden and those things possibly setting up as far as a presidential run, and the silver linings and the moon, because the man of sin and the moon and Obama and those types of things are tying into the moon shot or whatever shown with Obama. And then that's one dark side of the moon. It's for the waning and the waxing, and that's where you have Obama, this darkness, and then Kamala, that darkness, and you're going into those time frames where you can't see the moon at all, or you can see the moon, and that's where you see where you're going to go into the true night, where you're going to have the true black man up there in the presidency, but it might be through a seamless still situation or whatever kind of thing. And then either way, that's a whole nother thing. The World Cup that runneth over, and the second coming, the computer, the Putin, the computing, that's where we're at, the computing. And the Knicks game, the Spurs game, the horses, the horse year, the Iran, these things are going into a crunch time frame, and the Knicks is tied to the void. Either way, the where were we going? The stall, the mirror. So this is where like that political thriller would be coming upon the earth and opening up, and we've been seeing these kinds of things, and then we're seeing this, that, and the other with the airplanes and the amusement parks and all these types of things, right? It's going into final destinations where that's breaking open live and whatever else. So either way, the crypto and the sun rising and the morning star and all those types of things, that's all coming during that kind of stall session. And then the stall session is also when the darkness starts to set over the garden, and all the animals that have come out during the dawn and dusk hours are going back inside, and then you get your glowing eye things that's in the dark, and that's tying into your aliens and that kind of shit that's popping open, and people are going, oh my gosh. And they're going to get their deer in the headlights for that elderly, all right, as they're being taken into that nighttime hunt session and whatever else. And then the nighttime comes, there's that certain type of spotlight, potlight session. That's where the pot is getting taken into the stock market, which is the worst thing ever. As far as the consumer is concerned, and that's where it's going into the medical at the same time, and these things are going to make, this is where you can get recreational brickweed and whatever else on one level, or you can go into the medical system and have your insurance pay for it on another level, and then you get your weed for free, and all these little things are setting up as it's giving as the government is releasing the so-called truth upon the earth. This is going in where they're telling you sugar, first off, sugar, according to drug standards, is a drug. Okay, so that's where you get everybody hooked on the most addictive drug in the world, sugar, and then you make that illegal in a way, and that's where you get your little candy bar dealing. All right, so and then your candy bar dealing goes into where you're gonna have these fat fuckers come in. Hey man, will you go inside and buy me a fucking M&Ms or whatever, right? Either way, so that's where you're gonna be dealing the fucking sugar, and because either way, it's pretty good mechanism there, and that mechanism is part of that allegory in that Bible, and that Bible is that Babel, that BB that's upon you, that you're gonna shoot your eye out with. The eye is the AI, or the eye, and where you're being taken to that plank on that ship. And the woman's just become whatever, right? And this is man and woman, because at a time frame, God creates an image, and they are taken after that image, and male and female is made after he, them. And this is going into where you have, according to science and textbooks and all the classics, you have woman, an hourglass, right? And you have man, the parallel bars, or maybe this way, or whatever kind of thing is going on. But there's an excess on these types of things, and maybe shouldn't even be that. It should just be like parallel bars and the hourglass. All right. So as these things are in our world, when you look at a man with a big bush and a woman with a big bush, and they're overweight, right? Let's say they're the 60%, 70% obese and whatever, and they have hair, like it's one of those pats. As far as a haircut, it could be like the Swayze flowing mullet and shit, right? Or like Rambo, you're not expendable. And then he turns into the Expendables. Shit's funny, right? It's where it's right there in front of you. All the secrets are there in front of us. Okay? That's where Earth, it tells us all about these things coming into our world and going in down to this little wormhole through the fucking black hole that just fucking sucks you in, takes all the semen, crashes them into the fucking whatever, and you start having multiplication going on, and God's people are told to multiply. That's those times. Time is money. And then once you develop time is money, then you can go into the garden and you start worshiping one man's name and number, that Lord God, going to that, oh man, that Washington. But Washington lived 400 fucking years ago, so you don't really want to follow him anymore in a way. You want to go to the new Washington. That's why Jesus tells you to follow the man with a picture of money. That's why Don's coming with a new World Liberty Financial. With the Justin Sun, a new sunlight, setting up a new galaxy. So either way, these things, as you're going into the mirror and the stall and the political thriller and taking out the old Israel and all those things, you're taking out this and probably the parts of the Pentagon and CIA and whatever else to be taken out, just like start a whole new clean slate for the new slate. Because when you move the pool table, the flood waters, you break the slate, you got to get a new slate. Well, let's just get a new felt color too. Okay, so that felt color is, I don't know, how you doing, baby girl or baby boy, and whatever else kind of bullshit is going on upon in the earth that's testing man and getting them all frazzled as the double negatives, double positives are being shown in such a way. So they don't have control of the U, and they got the blue and the red pulling them every which way. So that ship going north or south, well, eventually it's just gonna dump that carcass and the whales and whatever else over the waters for that mammoth male session for the male and female made after him. So when you look around this world, and then the people in the fucking gym, the women don't look like fucking women anymore in there. There is a point you gotta fucking stop. And as a woman, when you're fucking shooting up steroids to do this, that, or the other, I think you crossed the line. So but this is a test of different things, because it's building up and seeing what the sons of God can do as the test of man is upon us. We can see on social media people are doing some shit we weren't doing as kids, and we were doing some shit they weren't doing as kids, so we kind of birthed what they're doing. So this is a level of different things as the brain and all these things are being turned on, and it can only be done with Christ consciousness is where we're all gathered together through the AI, and this is where the beastmen are gonna go down to the techno and whatever. This may come and go, where these phones come out and then they go back into a new thing, and then it's where they get, the phones are phasing out, and then you go into like a 3D holographic phone and whatever, where it's this and the glasses and all this shit, and you're popping up and whatever, or from your belt, you got your superhero belt, boom, boom, and then you have your Tony Stark shit or whatever on the world. Either way, folks, this is just like a window, right, where the darkness that flows through every. You can see the algorithm in life if you work in the fast food industry or the end of industries or whatever, but there's certain ones where it gets into a focal point, like when you work into a walk-in hair place at the cheap places or whatever. You can see an algorithm very fast, like you get a whole bunch of this one day, a whole bunch of that one day, and it's all throughout the salon, and you can hear each person getting their own, like, you know what I mean? You may not know what I mean, either way. So they take you out of these industries kind of thing through the college, and that's where you're just jumping off the ledge, and you've been in that free fall right now, and you're about to hit that freedom at the end. Either way, we're just in that mirror, in that stall, and as you're in that stall, the stable coin, the rich people own the tomb for the Jesus. So that's where they're going into all these things, and the capitalism is now going to turn on, and it's going to do different levels as the mark of the beast has been set, spiritually and physically, with this thing by the beast corporate system that shut down. They gave you the RNA changer, the ribonucleic acid, and they shoved the breath of life up your nostrils, and you went into Damascus.